Hey guys, it's QuickyBaby and welcome back to World of Tanks. I am not in my usual habitat. That's because I'm at my parents' house for Christmas, but I'm going to be getting you some videos up on my YouTube channel and streaming as well, so yeah, I'll make the effort for you guys. And it's an absolute pleasure to do so, as I've been sent a replay in by Everdynn from QSF. He's playing in his Type 61. This is a Tier 9 Japanese medium tank. And he's in a great matchup. We can see that a third of the enemy team are Tier 9s. And then the rest are pretty much Tier 8s, apart from a poor, lonely Jagdpanther and then 2 artillery. So Everdynn is going to show you just how good a Type 61 is if it's allowed to do its thing. He's using the mobility of this tank to quickly get up the hill and dominate the lighthouse that we see up there. Now, a Centurion 7-1 performs very similarly to this tank, as you will know if you've seen my full tank review on the Type 61. The Type 61 has the advantage of just so much better on the top speed, 20% faster in a straight line if it can get some momentum. And that's not to say that the Type 61 is sluggish going up a slope. As we can see here, it is clambering up at 20 kilometers an hour. So now he's finally reached the top of the lighthouse. It took him 1.5 minutes to do so, and he's about to start working. A Jagdtiger, one of the most dangerous tanks on the enemy team, stops in the open below him with 10 degrees of gun depression and an excellent 105mm. He's able to go right through the hull armor of the Tier 9 German tank destroyer. And now you're going to see what 10 degrees of gun depression in this position can do, as the enemy team are completely oblivious to the fact that Everdynn is above them. The T-54E1 has figured out that someone's shooting him from above, but he just simply doesn't have the gun elevation to be able to handle it. Everdynn bounces a shot off his turret and takes a look around to see where the ST-1 and the T-34 have made their way. And there he is. The ST-1 ignores Everdynn and pushes straight round the corner to be able to pincer these heavy tanks. All the heavy tanks on Everdynn's team are falling to a great flank between this IS-8, the T-69 and the ST-1. So Everdynn slowly moves himself over the slope and secures a kill on the T-34. And he's an absolute mountain goat of a tank here. He spots the T-54E1 from earlier. He rolls pretty low, leaving him on a fraction of health, which is taken away by the M103. Now an ST-1 has to be one of, if not the most heavily armoured tank at Tier 9. But when you've got 105mm with about 260mm of penetration, completely shooting down on that engine deck, it's not very useful at all. This tank fires 6 rounds a minute, unlike the Centurion 7-1, which only fires 5. And that allows Everdynn to take him apart a hell of a lot quicker than the Centurion 7-1 could have. Finally, he gets hit. A Super Pershing puts a shot into the side of his turret from down below, taking out his commander. There's that sneaky Super Pershing. Everdynn fires clutch, but is unable to penetrate the very thick spaced armor on that Tier 8 American premium tank. That shot, however, went straight through, getting his revenge on a tank which removed his commander. And this is just glorious from here. 4 kills up, 3,500 damage done as he takes out another Tier 9 heavy tank. Now the T-69, a Tier 8 American medium tank, seems to have got wise to Everdynn's ways. As he tries to scout out a shot on the Jagdtiger, he realizes he needs to put a shot into the ISG-152. Does he really want to poke? No, he does not want to poke against the BL-10. The T-69 thinks he has a clean engage, goes forwards, is tracked dead, and 429 damage makes him think twice about attacking. So right now, the position that Everdynn is in is completely pivotal to his team. This Jagdtiger thought that the T-69 up on the hill was going to handle Everdynn's Type 61 and doesn't want to turn his side armor to the 2 artillery below and the T-34. And that allows Everdynn to go straight through his side armor. A lovely easy shot against a massive target there. And this T-69 is not having a very good game. He has been unable to put one shot into Everdynn. And Everdynn doesn't want to go forwards. The ISU-152, who's in a platoon with the T-69, is very likely to put a shot into him. And he realizes that. He reverses to try and get some cover from the artillery. There are still 2 artillery on the enemy team, and the lightly armored Type 61 would be crippled by even having a splash from one of those 2 artillery. That shot went slightly wide, missing the hull of the tank and going into the tracks, holding the Jagdpanther still. Hopefully his artillery can take advantage of it. Everdynn uses his sniper mode to clearly see that the Jagdpanther was trying to shoot him. He dodges a shot and goes back over for some more. Wow, that one went straight towards the gun, probably the only place on the Jagdpanther 2 which he could ever fail to penetrate. And this Tier 7 German tank destroyer is giving him some grief, and I think Everdynn has finally had enough. He's going to go after this T-69. And he's figuring out what angle he needs to use to approach the hill. As he sneaks his way around, misses a shot on the T-69, who foolishly doesn't come around the corner to shoot Everdynn 3 more times. Seems to be panicking a little bit. And Everdynn takes him out the game. So right now, Everdynn has been in, as I said, a pivotal location. If he wasn't, all of his team were focused up on this lower area, and the enemy would have simply surrounded them using the ridge lines, and there's no way you can defend this position from enemies that are above you and surrounding you. Everdynn slowed down the enemy's advance and stopped them from surrounding his base, and importantly his 2 artillery. And they're going to come in useful later on, as you'll see. Finally he finds his mark on the Jagdpanther, penetrating him and forcing the Jagdpanther to retreat from the T-44 and the artillery. These tank destroyers have certainly had a horrible game. Only because of Everdynn here. That Jagdtiger would have most likely been able to push into base if Everdynn hadn't done that. 884 damage to him. He finally hits the Jagdpanther, allowing the T-44 to finish him off. But this game is still very close. He has the T-44 on his team and an Su-8. Well, scratch that T-44 as the artillery take him out. Now, he is alone with an artillery against a Tier 9 tank destroyer who's picked up 4 kills in an ISU-152. He finds the Object 704. Fires badly there. He's firing at the front plate of the Object 704, which is 120mm thick. He's never going to be able to go through that from here. The next shell goes high and hits the angled top armor of the Object 704. It's his last APCR shell he's about to fire. Thankfully, it flies true right into the top of the Object 704, taking him out, and a good thing too, as Everdynn now has 5 shells left to kill 3 enemy tanks. The ISU-152 was spotted very briefly there. Now Everdynn has 590 hit points left. That is a one-shot nearly 100% of the time for the ISU-152 if he's using his BL-10. And Everdynn is not messing around. He's not waiting. He's going to get stuck straight in there to try and ambush the ISU-152. Strangely enough, he was in a different position. He gets tracked. Well, he doesn't get tracked until now. He dives off a cliff, repairs his tracks very quickly, and manages to penetrate his second heat shell. That was very nearly an absolute heartbreak and what would have been an embarrassing end to the game if he did not have his repair kit there. Luckily he did, and his poor driving could be mitigated through the repair kit. But as he mentions in chat now, Everdynn says 3 shells left. 3 shells and 2 enemy tanks. Should be no problem, however, as long as he penetrates those 2 heat shells. The enemy tier 7 artillery should be a one-shot unless he low rolls. He spots the GW Panther. Doesn't get spotted himself. He reloads an HE shell. He must feel confident that he's going to be able to go through the weak superstructure of GW Tiger. However, he doesn't. He hits the tracks, doing half damage, and the GW Tiger repairs. He takes a shot and he misses. What a disaster. He's only got 1 left now. The Type 61 definitely is not as accurate as the Centurion 7-1, but at least it is more accurate than the Patton, even with the recent buff to that tank. Can he find the enemy artillery? They're in a platoon together. They're going to be working the best they can to try and survive this situation and take out our hero Everdynn, who is 300 damage short of hitting 7,000. He spots the S-51, aims it, penetrates the last shell of the game, and luckily for him, his Su-8 also wins his duel against the artillery, meaning that Everdynn finished off his final opponent with the last shell in his tank. What an absolute cracking game here for Everdynn in his Type 61, a tank which you don't often see worthy highlights of. He was able to hold onto the hill for long enough to allow his team to survive in base, enabling him to take out his opponents one by one by one, and finishing the game in an aggressive and dramatic fashion. Thank you so much for sending me this replay. And let's just take a very quick look at the post-game stats. So Everdynn's gross income for this game was over 100,000 credits, and he got 5,694 experience for his double. That's 1,898 base experience, achieving 7,300 damage. He only missed 2 shots, but there were quite a few non-penetrations this game, which meant with the low amount of ammunition that the Type 61 can carry that he struggled to be able to finish off the enemy team. Medal-wise, Everdynn was 1 off the Pools medal, but he still got the fantastic Bradley Walters and a high caliber. Everdynn was also able to do nearly 1,800 damage upon detecting, as he held the hill and spotted the majority of the enemy team from it, detecting just under half of the enemy team during the game. Everdynn titles this video as Cliffhanger King of the Hill. There's no doubt that that's exactly what this video was. And we got to see just how well-rounded the Type 61 is, as long as it's not getting shot at. Anyway guys, I hope you enjoyed this video. If you did, please consider rating it down below. It really helps the channel out. And if you want to see more Type 61 gameplay, then click up here and you can go through to a full tank review of this Tier 9 Japanese medium tank. And let me know in the comments down below what you think of the Centurion 7-1, the M46 Patton, and the Type 61 in the middle. Which is your favourite and why? And as always, thank you so much for watching. You've been epic, and hopefully I'll see you soon.